Hey guys, Bunny here. Welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club. I don't know. I last episode was a minute ago, maybe less. I made a coffee. It's now cold. Oh. Oh, that was a mistake. But yeah, I wanted to see how this worked, so I decided I'd do this straight away, and maybe I'll record 2 episodes in a sitting. We'll see. Yeah. So, do we just choose a word? Is it supposed to be like a full sentence? Infinite raindrops. A tone. Empty. Scars. Uncanny. Bubbles. Whistle. Silly. Eternity. Breathe. Effulgent. Unstable. Melody. Precious. Horror. Whirlwind. Excitement. Bouncy. Anime. What? None of those words seem to be able to make an actual sentence. Hi again, Bunny. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. No, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Bunny. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take it seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuko, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuko finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga. Manga is a literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuko plops into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Bunny always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy it's Okay, that sounds like my girlfriend. Like, she sometimes cleans up in the house because she thinks it's too messy and I keep telling her not to do this. But okay. So apparently Bunny isn't just me. And you almost set your house on fire once. That's so... You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Bunny can become good friends too? Sayori? As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? What? Wait, Sayori. Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. They made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So a nice gesture from you was a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is it so? Yeah, I won't make it a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Well, here. He reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Yeah. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face has already buried a new book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuke is rummaging around in the closet, I assume for her manga. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book she lent me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she knows me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and her eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. I'm just reading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious how come you have 2 copies of the same book. Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean... I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. Something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Well... Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright. I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of... It's kind of dark, isn't it? You made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Bunny? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. Like horrors for the reclusive, to be fair. It's just those kinds of stories. They challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they meant out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It is a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I'll slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Oh, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do. I don't mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk and tilts up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. Jesus. Getting in there, bunny. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I did say with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page, and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Huh? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and her eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not used to reading, right? I don't mind being impatient if it takes you a bit longer. Probably the least I can do. That grin, though. Since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. I feel like if you're reading the same book, it's probably a better idea to get the person who reads the best, or like take turns reading a page out loud. That works for me usually. It's actually probably even more close if both of them, if I'm getting the vibes right and they're both kind of flirting with each other. It's probably the better way to do it. But I guess she doesn't like talking very much, so maybe it's not the best way for her. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page, instead I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses all the things that she says and does, like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But, Bunny, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. But wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I didn't know you were so self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we shared today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters on your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of that's no. If you don't bookmark what page you're on, I'm sorry, but you're probably a serial killer or something to have that like organization in your head that you can just pick it off like go straight to the page that you, because like if I read that number, it's one number, like a series of digits. There's no way I'm gonna remember that in the you know, that night. Like, unless you get like an eidetic memory maybe, but God. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf, torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Now, I don't know how the poems function in the game. I picked a lot of like dark words because I literally picked words based on just how much I liked the word. And I feel like if that's how this works, I should pick Yuri, right? Because she's into like horror. Yuri seems the most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinion to be fair. Oof. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Huh? What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's gonna hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Huh? That's... I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment going. There was no coherent sentence in that entire poem. Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time really, unless you picked a word to use for each sentence. In that case, it might actually be coherent. I don't know. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She races her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. I don't think I ever did. I mean, maybe. I definitely had no depth to my poetry, but, you know, I try to... a loose rhyming pattern, in the sense that if something sounds better in my head than the rhyming pattern, I just kind of go, you know, out through the window, this looks a lot better. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and then they form fit the two together. Ooh, yeah, I've never found a writer, like, I understand doing certain techniques, but a whole writing style that you pick before you choose the topic matter, that sounds dumb, and I've never seen someone really do that, to be fair. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the dumb one, but that's just not what I've experienced. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. I mean, my poems are definitely absolute shit, so maybe that's why. Once Yuri finds a train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example, and trying new things. I also hope that everyone in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuke. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles surely as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Oh, I get to read it. Cool. Ghost Under the Light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one, the last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm. Breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Kinda like it. I'm sorry I have such Oof, you should see mine. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Huh? That's a relief. Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short? I usually read longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to... Something easy to why can't I say that word? Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? What I'm going back. I'm rereading that because that sounded like I said that really like foreboding, and that wasn't intentional. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Bunny. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story, or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Huh? It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so... if anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Bunny. Me too. Cool. How long have I been going? Ooh. Okay, we'll read the rest of the poems next time. What just happened? Okay. Make sure to suggest more games in this because I don't have many games on my plate at the moment. I've still got to finish Subnautica. I've still got to... Actually, Subnautica's the only single-player game I'm doing at the moment, I think, and Titan Quest stream. So yeah, suggest more games. They can be like old games. They can be new games. Tell me what you want to see. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out Epic's Other Side because this is a perfect kind of game to talk about the fact that I have another channel that doesn't have as many subscribers that is literally just for poetry readings and literature and art. So check that out. Bunny out.